AB it out, and then don't worry, we're gonna kill Florida State here today. Like,
we don't have to talk about Michigan.
That's fine.
Nothing.
You guys won. You're
2-0. Live. What's going on, crackers? Welcome to another edition of Analytically Correct. We're here at Public House. We got Rob. We got Stretch producing over here on University. We're gonna start with. We're gonna be pretty football heavy. We're gonna start with like the major news. Our last show was Thursday, so obviously the crazy stuff that happened over the weekend with Antonio Brown. We're gonna kick it over to Rob. I'm gonna tag some people on Facebook and Twitch and everything. Just give me basic. Compose yourself. We're just gonna get Rob's take pretty much on the overall Antonio Brown thing. How bad do you think the Patriots cheated? I'm gonna go ahead and tag some people over here, and I'll let you riff for a couple minutes.
I've gone over before with the Patriots. The thing that frustrates me with the Patriots, not only just him, but like Josh Gordon, when he was failing drug tests in Cleveland, because we're gonna get to AB, but I'm attacking the Patriots as a whole.
So I said I was gonna tag people, and as soon as you said Josh Gordon, it brought something up, and not to cut you off, but he had 3 strikes in Cleveland, right?
And he could never play.
In a year and a half.
Yes.
And then the 4th strike, he just plays?
Bro, that's the problem is, like, in Cleveland, he was failing drug tests, and he had to miss the league for like 3 years for failing a drug test, for drinking alcohol on a plane.
And now it's fine.
And now he's, like, failing drug tests in New England, and he's getting reinstated. And, like, okay, that's great. You know, Patriot fans enjoy it. Now the AB thing goes on. Like, my thing with it is this.
I don't think either one of us are Mr. Kill the Patriots or we don't hate the Patriots.
No, I'm a huge Tom Brady fan. That's what upsets me here.
We're not those guys who are like the Patriots.
No,
I don't care. Yeah, whatever.
I think he's the greatest quarterback of all time. I think he's the greatest dynasty in all of football. I think the greatest sports dynasty is a big no because UConn women's basketball was still like winning, an X amount of like 300 plus games within a time frame, like with under what's his face Gino.
Yeah,
but like I understand, like obviously it's not the marquee dynasty people want to talk about, but it needs to be well respected as well. But, like, when you look at the Patriots, it's like, okay, they just traded Demaryius Thomas today, didn't they? Did they trade him to the Jets?
They just traded him,
for like
I think,
a 6th-round pick?
Yeah, something like that.
You're looking at it, it's like, of course, it's going to be a great receiving core now. You got Antonio Brown, who's still, I understand people love Hopkins, they love Julio, but, like, Antonio Brown's done nothing to lose his title as being the best receiver in football. Like, he's just been consistently, like, he scored 15 touchdowns last year. He was sharing a lot of catches with Juju. There's a lot going on in that offense still. Now it's like, he's going to be in New England, alongside with Josh Gordon, Julian Edelman in the middle. It's going to be one of the toughest teams to defend. It's going to be one of the toughest receiving cores to contain. And not only that, the differences with this team versus other teams they had, like back when they had Randy Moss, they have Sony Michel and James White in the backfield too. Like, this offense is going to be an absolutely dominating offense. And they need to have Antonio Brown to get past the Chiefs, I truly think, if like on a clear cut. Because the Chiefs are obviously hungry. You're going to see this team really go out there and try to beat the Patriots. That's the goal for them. It's the goal for everyone. But the Chiefs are taking it really personal and believe they can. With Antonio Brown there, I don't think they can. I think the Antonio Brown situation was absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I get it. Listen, he forced his way out. He got cut. But we all know the true story there. I mean, we all know, like, you have to be a very dumb person to think it was just, it just happened, coincidentally. No, it didn't. Because Pete Carroll was supposedly trying to reach out and grab Antonio Brown as soon as he's released, and they said there's no shot. He was already on the way to New England as soon as he got cut.
So to break down basically the events of what happened in the timeline, so Antonio Brown tries to force his way out of Pittsburgh because he hates Ben Roethlisberger or whatever the hell's going on over there. And the Patriots apparently offered a 1st-round pick. And the Steelers said, no, we're not going to trade him to the Patriots.
Stupid.
Well, I mean, you can understand they're trying to win with Ben Roethlisberger now. They don't care about a 1st-round pick. Obviously, it's a better offer. They turned down a 1st-round pick from the Patriots. They take a 3rd and a 5th from the Raiders.
Well, they were going to take I believe it was something else similar from Buffalo until he axed that trade as well. Like
so he goes to the Raiders. He does the feet thing, which the only thing you can say maybe he didn't plan on doing on purpose was the feet thing. He's not going to freeze his feet on purpose.
No, it's the therapy he does to his feet. I actually do follow him on Snapchat, so I look at a lot of his stuff, to be honest with you. I am a big AB fan. I love the fact that AB is a phenomenal player. He's a dominating player, whether you like him off the field or his antics or not. I don't pick players because they're morale. I don't care and I know it sounds bad, but like I'm not picking these guys for what their beliefs are and what they do. I like them because they play football. Like there's no other reason we really like them. Cool, you donate money, awesome, dude. What do you do on the football field? Like that's just kind of my prerogative. I keep it football, and that's really it.
So the feet thing happens. He wears Vans in a cryo chamber. He freezes his feet. That's the only thing you can say probably not on purpose.
Yeah.
But then he does the helmet thing. He threatens to retire. He had a practice where he apparently torched everybody on the Raiders,
yeah.
and then he said, "Oh, I need an MRI," and then he calls Mike Mayock a cracker.
Dude, beautiful.
Unfortunately, that report has been refuted that he didn't call him a cracker. Antonio Brown's wife is white.
I don't believe the report still, but I'll go.
I want to believe it. It's my Christmas present. I want him to call somebody a cracker, but apparently, so all that kind of stuff happened. So he can't go to the Patriots because the Steelers don't want to trade him there.
Obviously, yeah.
He goes to the Raiders, and then he forces his way pretty much out. He does the social media video, which if you're a Raiders fan, there's no bigger insult that he says, "Oh, the Raiders released me." He starts running around the backyard like
screaming, "I'm free!" Like,
yeah.
dude, it's like.
And don't get me wrong, like religion, whatever you want to believe. He's like, "Oh, God is great." He's like, "You forced your way out. That had nothing to do with God or whatever." And then his grandmother in the background is like, "I told you it was all going to work out." It's like, what worked out? He forced his. What's going on here?
Like the whole thing, it's like, listen, dude, I get it. You're happy, you're free, this and that. You said no to Buffalo very quickly. You said yes to Oakland you said yes to Oakland. You could have nixed Oakland completely out. He was controlling his trade market in Pittsburgh. There was a point where he was controlling it. And he is also with Rosenhaus, and Rosenhaus knows this league like the back of his hand, like no other.
So on Saturday, the earliest he could have signed was 4 o'clock. He signs like 4:01 with the Patriots. How long does it take to get a contract done? Like, it takes more time to do paperwork in a regular job than that.
Pete Carroll said that was his main target to go after to bring him into Seattle, in which Seattle, he would have fit in great with I think it would have been a franchise that would have brought him in and, like, honestly taken him in and enjoyed him. And also, Pete Carroll, again, is a player's coach. Russell Wilson could use a better target than Tyler Lockett, let's be very honest. And, you look at that, I thought it would have been good. But when you see how the whole thing unfolded, it's clear it happened. Now, here's the thing to football fans. Stop complaining because your team needs to figure it out at this point, because it was coming to the point now to where Tom Brady's already pretty much unstoppable when he's in the playoffs as it is, unless you're the New York Giants or Nick Foles. And then, you come in and now he has just a great team. This may arguably be his best team around him. We're talking about per position, because I understand he went 16-0 with that Randy Moss group. But their running backs, Lawrence Maroney's not better than Michelle or James White on that side. Like, James White's phenomenal out of the backfield. It's a whole other receiver. Sony Michelle's shown, like last year, and he's going to show this year as well, I believe, that he can run through in between the tackles and he can consistently move the chains. Their defense looks good up and down. They are going to be, what we just saw, I understand Pittsburgh is the first game of the year. I don't get too hard and happy. No, yeah, don't get too hard and happy yet, but 33-3. Like, they still have Juju. They still have James Washington. They still have James Conner.
They're about to switch out Philip Dorsett for Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
One of my guys from my fantasy league sent me a graphic. It was like, there's 4 receivers right now in the league that have had a 1,600-yard season. 3 of them are on the Patriots. Mm-hmm. Well, they just traded Demaryius Thomas, but it was Demaryius Thomas, Julio Jones, Josh Gordon, and Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
Your second best receiver now is Josh Gordon, and your third best is Julian Edelman.
I think Edelman is more of when it comes to what can he do on the field, I like Edelman more, obviously, just because it's the system they run.
But the potential,
but the player, the athletic ability and the player at that position, clearly Edelman can't do what Josh Gordon does on that outside part. But if Gordon came in the slot, could he do that? I believe he could. I believe he could dominate in a slot role and just consistently take off yards after catch as well. But I do think that obviously New England made a lot. I already thought New England would have a great shot at obviously making the Super Bowl, and I think they're going to be. This is what's going to help them get past.
They're going to win the Super Bowl.
They didn't win with Randy, so that's my only hope.
Yeah, but that was just like.
Yeah.
Your only hope is like football happens and it's like bad luck.
And there's only something like, and I'll say this: teams can get everybody they want, but sometimes that doesn't always work out.
Well, so speaking of, I was just thinking in my head, Boston fans and how much I hate Patriots fans, Red Sox. Not to get into baseball, just to dive in for a second to go off of football. They fired Dave Dombrowski. You won the World Series last year.
That was shocking. I was with Stretch.
The Tigers will take him back right now.
And I pointed to that and I was like,
oh, wow. Oh, poor you. You're like 10 games under 500.
I don't know if you saw.
We lost 100 games.
David Ortiz threw the first pitch last night. It was probably the best pitch thrown by a Red Sox all night last night. So it was awesome, but go Yankees.
What's the square root of this apartment?
But no, I was really shocked about that one. But we look at like Boston sports, you really think, because they give their guys a lot of time. Danny Ainge hasn't won a championship over there with Boston when he's made all of his moves with Kyrie, but they still consistently give him, like, they're still pushing for him to obviously do what he's doing. He's great with operations.
Yeah,
Dombrowski's not a bad operational guy. Like, I hate to say it.
To me, as a Lions, it's a Stafford thing. Stafford, he's whatever you think he is. But who else are you going to get that's better?
Yeah,
So you get rid of Dave Dombrowski. Who are you going to get that's better? Billy Beane's not coming through the door.
Well, baseball's going so analytical. They'll find some
But Dombrowski was
Yale.
an analytics kind of guy, though.
And I think the younger route may go as well with that. I mean, it's there's a lot. I think baseball front office could they're in a whole weird swing with it's strictly.
Fuck the Red
analytical
Sox.
now.
I hope they lose 100 games next year.
Listen, if there's this.
Oh yeah, you fire Dave Dombrowski. Like, what do you have one bad season? Give me a break. I'm a Tigers fan.
They gave him like 8.
I'm a Lions fan. My team tied. I don't even know how to feel about it.
Yeah, man.
Fine,
that was when you So how'd you feel about your game with the Lions, man?
I'll be honest, because I know the Lions. I'm this kind of fan. If anybody who's watching knows me, I know the Lions aren't going to win the Super Bowl, and I'm kind of a realist. So I just like to watch football.
Yeah.
So honestly, I was kind of rooting for Kyler Murray towards the end. I was almost rooting for him to pull the comeback off. The first half was a completely different than the second half. He looked awesome in the second half, and to have that kind of poise to suck for the entire first half in your first game and you're the franchise.
Now, Frank Cano's a manager, but
And I know it's the Lions, but for him to come back like that, I had a lot of respect for Kyler Murray for what he did in that game.
I can't stand watching Kyler that game because every other time he's complaining to a referee about something. Dude, you're a rookie.
I didn't really notice that.
No, he was talking to refs, especially towards the end of the fourth quarter. And
I noticed more how bad Matt Patricia is at coaching.
You know what the worst part about that is, man? He is that exact realm of the Eric Manginius, it's these guys are great coordinators.
So let me just
Todd
put it
Bowles,
out there.
Amazing coordinator.
I'm not the skinniest guy. I'm not the most fit. I don't want my coach to be a fat fuck.
Andy Reid's a fat guy, and
I'll take Andy Reid.
I'll take him.
But how are you going to sit there and tell your players to run sprints and gassers and all this, and you can't even run 10 yards?
Well, it's no different than them saying, "Oh, I could run that route better than you." It's no, you can't. Come on, you can't run the route better than me.
And Andy Reid, I'll give credit to.
Oh man, he's absolutely phenomenal.
He's probably I'm not going to say better than Belichick, but offensive. Andy Reid offensively is what Belichick is.
He's better than Sean Payton.
Andy Reid
is better than Sean Payton, in my opinion.
Andy Reid is the offensive Bill Belichick. Belichick is all defense. I think those guys are kind of go Pats. Who the fuck is this?
Oh, it's Frayer. Good old Frayer. Hey, Frayer, how's the division looking in baseball? Be a big football fan this year. Be good for you.
I don't even feel bad for him. It was 6 months ago. He was pouring champagne on his head in Castaways. I don't feel bad.
You know what? That is true.
I haven't won a game in 6 months.
I'll be very honest with you.
Every single good pitcher in the league used to be on the Tigers. How do you think I feel about that?
I know, man. That is actually very true.
Phil Jackson, a bad hip, and sat in a high chair before his Knicks days. Yeah, Phil Jackson, I don't know.
Why are we talking about the Knicks, though? The Knicks haven't made a smart move in front office in a long time.
We're already going too far away from our bread and butter, which is football, talking about baseball. We don't need to be talking about the Knicks.
Yeah.
All right.
You guys don't know, it's Nets Nation over here.
We're not even
Nets Nation.
We're not even going to talk about the Knicks when basketball season comes up. So don't bring the Knicks around here right now. All right.
I was more annoyed to see a game in a tie. Can we get rid of the ties in football?
It's
please.
It's weird that the overtime. I like how it is that if you kick a field goal, the other team gets a chance.
Yeah.
But so my proposal would be for NFL overtime. And the same thing you were saying earlier about how when they review the pass interference, it slows the game down. For me, I'm watching football for 12 hours. So if it's overtime, for me, this is what I would propose. You know how in college, each team starts at the 25 and they have a chance to score. You know how the college I would say let each NFL team start from the 20.
I think they start at the 50 because NFL.
No, their own 20. Where the kickoff is.
Okay, make a drive. Okay, no. Okay, I can see that. I don't like how close college football is because you can almost kick a field goal damn near every time. They have almost the opportunity for sure to score.
If Michigan, and I didn't want to talk about this game, but if Michigan was playing anybody other than Army, we probably would have lost because they would have kicked a field goal. The college overtime, the way it works, the 25 is the college kickers aren't as good.
No, man, that's so frustrating to watch.
It's a perennial frustration for me. How can you be Michigan? How can you not recruit a motherfucking kicker? Excuse my language if you're watching, Mom. How can you not recruit a kicker to kick a 30-yard field goal?
Alabama doesn't scholarship kickers either.
They got a guy now this year.
Well, no, I mean there was a time remember when they went to the championship against LSU?
Yeah, every year it was
they were always having issues with kickers. It was just now they're I think number one, you're in college, dude. You don't have to tackle.
That's all you do.
You don't have to catch. You have to kick.
That's all you
kick.
do.
That's it. You spend practice kicking. If you can't do that, go to home ec and go do whatever classes you're doing, dude. Don't be on the football field kicking.
Miami basically lost this week because of their kicker. He was missing chip shots.
Oh, yeah, man. That was shocking.
0-2, yeah. Not very good for you Miami fans. I don't know. Heard a lot of trash talking while the Michigan game was going on. I mean, not that we had a good showing, but you're 0-2. Give me a break.
I agree with the flipping the coin. I'd rather than flip a coin than do a tie. Like, I think ties are stupid.
I would rather just have the coaches pick one player from their team and do an arm wrestle.
I got to bring back Greg Hardy. They would be rostered for reasons only strictly of that.
Either each team picks their own player to arm wrestle and whoever wins wins, or the quarterbacks have to arm wrestle.
Oh man, imagine if Josh Rosen had an arm wrestle. Have you looked at his
Imagine
arms,
if
dude?
Josh Rosen is arm wrestling Cam Newton.
Oh man, damn, that would be rough. That would be really sad to see.
Would Cam Newton be the best arm wrestler as quarterback?
I don't know, because remember back in the days, the original Colin Kaepernick when he was kissing the bicep after touchdowns. That's my official arm wrestler if I could have one.
Kaepernick?
When he was kissing the biceps, like that was his like Super Bowl run.
If they change those rules to the arm wrestling rules, maybe he gets signed.
Yeah, I mean, he can probably arm wrestle. I mean, he looks like he's in great shape. I'll take the arm wrestling. I may not be able to read a coverage, but he's in great shape.
I got an inside source. My friend was at UCLA this summer, and he saw Kaepernick throwing to Odell, and he said Kaepernick still got it.
Oh, my God. Stop it.
Oh, the fro. I mean, he saw the fro.
Oh, okay. That's awesome, though.
Come on.
Well,
Okay,
that's my team's. My fantasy team name is Victory Formation. It's a picture of
We're not going to get into Kaepernick talk, but if Gardner Minshew can be a quarterback in the NFL, why can't Colin Kaepernick?
I mean,
I watch college football. Who the fuck is Gardner Minshew?
It's because, I mean, if we're going to get into that, I mean, that's a whole segment that I refuse to talk about.
That's a made-up
Kaepernick,
name.
To be honest with you.
That's a computer-generated
If he had
name.
a better agent, he'd be in the league. If his agent wasn't demanding him to make $10 million per year on a team, yeah. I mean, his agent came out right away and said he needs $10 million to play. It's like, it doesn't work that way, dude. Like, and I'm not.
Why? Brock Osweiler is making like $20 million.
And what happened after his contract, after they cut him? He only went to vet minimum.
I don't want to get into Kaepernick talk. I'm just saying there's a lot shittier quarterbacks in the league than Kaepernick.
Oh, there definitely are. But the man, like, when I look at a quarterback play, man, I just don't look at, like, Minshew and think, oh, yeah, that's the guy I'm going to compare in this. Because Colin's not going to be a third stringer.
You know, it's been 10 years since Manti Te'o. We're old now, man.
His fiance?
Hey, where's Antonio Brown, man? Where's my receiver? You want to be a Raider or not? No, I don't.
Good for, and I will say this for the Raiders. Good for them for winning last night. Look good for Carr, but coming out with some intensity. You don't see enough intensity from Carr, I feel like. He looked good last night. Tyrell Williams looking energetic. The defense looked fun.
Josh Jacobs, my guy. I'm in 5 fantasy leagues. I have been in 4.
I mean, and I will say Joe Flacco looked absolutely horrendous. This is the most receiving talent Joe Flacco's had. Like, as a whole. I'm not talking about one person like Anquan or Steve. I'm talking
one of
about
my favorite players of all time is Steve Smith. He had Steve Smith for a while.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying like Steve Smith, but then who else was the other receiver? Like he was trying to make believe Rashad Perriman work. The guy was horrible, dude. Like he ran fast and tights, and that was it.
Yeah.
And then but he's got Cortland Sutton. He's got Emmanuel Sanders. Phil Lindsay's a great option
great,
back
though.
there.
What you're naming right now is not great.
But Emmanuel Sanders is a great slot receiver. Then you have Cortland's a 6'5" target on the outside.
Great slot receiver?
Yeah.
He's all right.
I mean, he was top numbers when he moves to slot. When he moves to the slot, he has top numbers in slot receiving category.
To me, they don't have a number 1 receiver.
No, but you don't need a number 1. Like, look how many teams have a number 1 and don't look great. Like the Falcons.
Oh,
yeah.
there you go.
Falcons have a number 1. The Texans will go 9-7. They have Hopkins.
Yeah.
Like, a number 1
It makes you wonder with the contracts, like what they're paying out. You got to pay the guys because they're awesome.
Well,
but they're not making that big of a difference. Like the Falcons look like shit.
He's above average.
Who's above average? I don't know.
But Peyton Manning versus Big Ben. That's what we're asking. Peyton Manning.
Joey wanted us. One of my boys from one of my fantasy leagues. I know you hate Willie Taggart. Do you want to go for a minute or two on FSU?
Little Willie Taggart.
I said, what do you want us to talk about? He said, talk about the fuckery that's going on at FSU right now.
Little Willie himself. FSU fans, this is what you get for saying bye, for being so anti-Jimbo, for not supporting your school, for not paying Jimbo. This is what you get. I love every moment of it. It's great and it's hysterical to watch you guys bitch and moan about it because you have one of the best recruiters in the country, one of the top head coaches in the country, and you want to make it seem like it was just FSU's fault. If you don't pay, then he's not going to go out there. Dabo got paid $7.5 million. Why isn't Jimbo worth $7.5 million? And the ACC.
Can I ask you a question? Why are all the Florida teams so bad when Florida is one of the top 3 recruiting grounds in the country?
I don't know that, like, to be honest with you. When you really look at, that's what made Jimbo had such a stranglehold on against Florida and Miami. Is he was taking all the South Florida talent.
It's arguably what? Florida, Texas, California, Pennsylvania. Florida is at least top 3.
I think Florida's 1, like, and
Yeah,
that's
I think
biased
it is
as hell.
too.
But like, I mean, honestly,
No,
I
but
think
there's South Florida. There's a neighborhood where it has the most per square foot NFL players.
Like, if you want to find a quarterback, go to Texas. I get that. You want to find a good quarterback, go to Texas. You want to find some big
Lamar
guys.
Jackson, Antonio Brown, Marquise Brown.
I mean, you have all these. I mean, just South Florida alone is its own realm of football, let alone all of Florida. You know what I mean? Like,
the guys who don't make it from down there just because of the situations they're in could form their
the
own
Santa
college
Clara
team.
High Schools, the American Senior High School, Miami North Center. I mean, it's just.
There's guys like
just
from
all over.
Miami, New Orleans, and like these guys who I watched when I was in high school, and it's just because the situation they're in and like stuff. The players that make it to the NFL, it's not just because they're good. Like things have to work out.
Yeah, they have to have exposure on top of that too.
There's talent that doesn't make it that's good enough to make it.
Yeah, Miami had an interior guy like back in 2003 got shot and killed after practice, and the guy was looking like being a draft pick potentially down the road.
One of the linebackers in particular I'm thinking about was from Miami Northwestern, and I can't remember his name, but this guy was like a grown man that could have won the NFL from high school. So it's like if you're Florida, if you're FSU, if you're Miami, how are you not better?
And it comes down to, well, think about it. Florida had, after Urban left, they had.
They haven't had a quarterback since Tebow.
Well, because when what's his face, Driscoll was playing, they won 11 games. And then that was his first year. After that, he fell the living hell off. I don't know what happened there, but he looked very promising for Florida. I thought if Driscoll was with Urban, they would have had another run, to be honest.
Their quarterback now sounds like a fucking hot dog company, Felipe Franks.
Yeah, that would be a great hot dog.
Yeah, I'd buy it.
It really would, dude.
Get a couple of Antonio Brown. Get a couple of Felipe Franks, man.
Felipe Franks. Would you, if I wanted to go out somewhere and eat, and I said, let's go to Felipe Franks, would you expect that to be the quarterback or, a restaurant of some sort?
It's 2 for 1, Felipe Franks.
Yeah, like it's. But no, like when you look at they had McElwain over there, and they had the guy before McElwain. Who was this? What's his face? You know what I'm talking about? Bigger set guy. Ah, damn it.
Chase said Florida's good right now. What do you think about that?
Florida's all right now. They're gonna get they're the SEC East. The SEC. I'm not. Florida's not a top 10 team.
I think they're gonna lose to Kentucky.
Down. I mean, it's just. Well, yeah.
Yeah, but FSU sucks. Yeah. Well, Florida's playing Kentucky this week.
Way better than FSU. Awesome. Like
Florida's playing Kentucky this week. They're on the road. They're only favored by 8.5. I could see Kentucky winning that game.
Kentucky should not win that game.
Well, they have a good defense. I mean,
Florida, they have.
Who is Florida? Florida's not like. I mean, why is everybody? Bubba Franks.
Oh my God, that's a good one too. I would open a bar called that. I'm with that.
You got Bubba Burgers and you got Franks.
I mean, it's a dual place, man.
No, why is Florida getting all this credit? I have no problem.
Well, because I mean, look at it. Last year, I mean, part of it was beating up on you guys last year with your defense.
With like 10 starters out of the game.
I get that, but like they don't always correlate that stuff, and I mean that is part of it. From when they do have LSU on their schedule, obviously this year. They're going to see Georgia.
It's going to play itself out.
They're going to see Auburn.
I'm not getting myself all like wrapped up in the rankings right now.
But the SEC East is so bad that, Florida, you should be good in that SEC East. Outside of Georgia, there's really no competition in the SEC East. Mizzou lost the first game of the year to nobodies.
If Florida was that good, they would be favored by more than 8 points against Kentucky, which I think Kentucky's pretty good.
I think they're
going to win.
I think Florida should beat Kentucky by 17. Florida should be able to walk through.
Take the spread. It's only 8.5.
I mean, Florida should be able to walk through there and beat them if Florida is who they say they are. And I agree with Florida is on the come up because Dan Mullen, I think, is a good coach. I think Dan Mullen can work with them and get them better and better. I don't think this year they're going to make this outstanding attack that they're going to win the SEC, but maybe they represent the SEC East. I don't think they will, but maybe they do, and if they beat out Georgia. But I do see that, when you look at what Florida's going to, they're in the best. Florida's going forward more than any other team in the state when it comes to the Big Three.
Not UCF. UCF is better than
Florida.
Florida.
The Big Three. And UCF.
If UCF played Florida right now on a neutral field, what would be the spread?
I don't know, dude. I don't even want to get into that because Florida's UCF's on their third string quarterback, man.
Yeah, but he looks all right.
Yeah, he looks all right against FAU and FAMU. Cool.
Yeah, but Florida played Miami and UT Martin. Yeah, why is Florida getting all this credit?
You realize FAU and FAMU, those guys aren't going to be able to. They can't even play at Miami. They're not even going to go play at Florida.
FAU put up 21 against Ohio State.
Okay.
They're okay.
But when was Justin Fields out of the game? By the fourth quarter. I get garbage time is garbage time at the same time. Let's not throw out the final number. I'm just saying I don't think
Florida should be getting all this credit.
I do think they should be top 10. Do I think they're on the back end top 10? Yes.
I have no problem with Michigan losing a couple of spots in the rankings. We look like shit against Army. Everyone's talking about Josh Gaddis and this new offense, and all I saw them do was run it with Charbonnet up the middle 50 times, and I was losing my mine.
Yeah.
We got lucky to win that game. I would have quit my job.
You know, sometimes it does.
I wouldn't have gone into work.
I mean, it made Oklahoma get better after that game, so maybe you guys get better.
They made it to the playoff, yeah.
Oh, you know, Chase, there we go. You and I are agreeing heavily on this one.
Fire Harbaugh, yeah, great. And who are you going to get?
Oh, man, we can't get Les Miles.
Mac Brown?
Well, Les Miles may be fired. Kansas just lost to Coastal Carolina.
The LSU-Texas game was pretty good.
That was a solid game. I am happy. You know, that's a team I'm tired of hearing about is Texas.
They're showing Michigan right now. What are they saying?
Texas
I can't read.
is a team. I can't hear any more about Texas. I'm tired of hearing about it over and over with them. Let it happen. Stop forcing us to believe it's going to happen. Like Florida. Florida is happening
Texas
slowly.
is the Miami of the Big 12. It's like they used to be good, and now every year it's like, oh, we're going to be back. No, we're not back.
And it's like Oklahoma's running that like that. And Jalen Hurts, the way he's playing, I know they haven't played against the greatest of people of Urban.
Yeah, of course. He's a piece of shit.
Oh, man. Imagine if Harbaugh got fired and they brought in Urban.
No, I wouldn't be a fan anymore. I'll quit
the
team. He's a piece of garbage.
I haven't had to stop it, take it a little. That's a stop.
Urban Meyer's a piece of garbage. Oh, I'm going to take some time off and be with my family. Yeah, until the next job opening comes up. He's go back to Florida or some shit.
You know what, man?
He's a piece of shit.
So what? Does he win? What do you want to do?
I'll give you that. I just want to win.
Yeah, see, that's it. Like, he is what he is.
Everyone's like, oh, as Alabama cheating in recruiting? Is Clemson cheating in recruiting?
Of course.
Can Michigan start cheating in recruiting? I just want to win.
That's how I feel about Syracuse basketball. We cheat. We still get half-assed basketball players.
Do you think I don't count those Fab 5 titles or those Fab 5 banners? They're still up in my record book. I don't give a shit what they say.
Yeah, they should be. They honestly
cheat.
I think Urban's next move is going to be either Notre Dame or USC. I don't think he's done yet, to be honest.
Why would he leave Ohio State then?
Just because to prove it. I mean, Urban's an egotistical guy too. Why
would he go to Notre Dame though?
It's a dream job to him.
Ohio State was his dream job.
No. Like Notre Dame's been said to be a dream job from him.
But he's an Ohio guy, right?
He is, but he also had one of his first assistant coaching jobs from Notre Dame.
It makes sense because Notre Dame's a piece of shit and he's a piece of shit, so it's a pretty good marriage.
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think. I mean, Notre Dame's got to allow him to bring in his players. His players aren't Notre Dame players. Like,
who was it that said?
You're not having an Ezekiel Elliott in Notre Dame.
Was it Skip Bayless or somebody said that Notre Dame should never be allowed back in the playoff again?
I agree with that. After that, I was like, why?
How about this? Join a conference.
Yeah, like their sports are all ACC except for their football. What makes you so special? Like that we're independent. What does that even mean?
Yeah.
So you're gonna play the whole damn military branch? What are they gonna? What, they practice against the damn Coast Guard? What is this? No, I don't care if you win it. I don't care if you beat military school.
You got Trump on the practice squad.
Cool. You're beating guys that are enlisted to do something after football. That very rarely do they go play football. That's not a premier football school. Army and Navy were a premier football school back in the 20s. We are long past that.
1820s?
Yeah, it's.
I do hate Trump, not to get into politics, but he is apparently doing something where Army now, if you're in a Naval or Army Academy, you are going to have the chance to actually go into the NFL, because before you had to finish your 5 years of service or whatever.
I think if you're good enough, the NFL team can afford $45,000 to
If I'm going to shit on him for everything else he does, I'll give him a little bit of credit for that. I mean, whatever.
You have my guys on TV right now, and here the question is price for Prescott. Now, here's my thing with Cowboy fans.
$70 million a year.
That's insane. But there's my boy right there. I like both my boys. It's beautiful. Durant's on the TV now. But when you look at the Cowboys, and one other thing I want Cowboy fans to realize is don't get excited yet. We beat the Giants.
My roommate Dan, you know Dan.
Yes.
I was talking to him about all these bets. I'm like, Cowboys 15-1 to win the Super Bowl. You should put some money on it. He's like, I don't know. I'm kind of nervous, and I'm that kind of fan too about my teams. But
if I
was a Cowboys fan, I'd be pretty confident right now.
I put $200 on 17-1 already.
Yeah, if I was a Cowboys fan, I'd be pretty confident.
I'll spend $200 going out to a bar with people. I'll spend $200 that day, and if I win money from it, great. But if not, it is what it is.
Amari Cooper looks pretty good. Zeke is Zeke.
Michael Gallup.
Yeah.
Here's the one thing I'll take away from the Cowboys game I was excited about, was Kellen Moore's play calling. It didn't look it actually looked like an NFL team play calling.
Did it surprise you how fast he went from in the league to offensive coordinator?
Not now.
He was just at Boise State 5 years ago.
Not now, only because the McVays and the Shanahans are proving that young minds are big in football now.
Not saying that he's not going to be good.
Yeah,
but
no.
I feel like just the other day he was at Boise State.
Him and Jason Garrett, their contracts both die out this year.
I think my point is I'm getting old, because I remember Kellen Moore as Boise State with the hook and lateral play.
Jared Zambransky.
It wasn't Kellen Moore?
Zambransky made the NCAA cover on that one. He was a great quarterback for Boise State still statistically and passed Jim Bransky a lot, but the hook and ladder was in Bransky on that one. But when we're looking at Jason Garrett and Kellen Moore, their contracts are both up this year. One, if we go as far,
Garrett's going to get the Gruden 10 years.
No, he's not.
Yes,
no, he's not. It's already been. You gotta. If you didn't watch the press conference, then I understand why
I didn't.
Then it made very clear. Kellen Moore, his value.
Is he the new head coach?
I think he has the potential to be the new head coach. If we go to the NFC Championship, everyone's going to know this. Garrett's not going to make a lot. If Garrett can get, if he won the Super Bowl, Garrett wouldn't get a lot of good jobs. Kellen Moore.
Garrett is there because he does what Jerry Jones says.
Kellen Moore is the offensive play caller. He would have a lot of jobs coming after him because of his age, and they know his resume looks better than Garrett's resume is horrendous.
Also, if Kellen Moore is in a position to succeed, if you look at the talent that he has on offense this year, there's almost no way he could fail.
Jason Garrett has had a lot of talent on offense for years.
Well,
he's never made it work. That's my thing, though. That's why I don't believe
he's actively bad.
Even if we won a Super Bowl, I don't believe Garrett would get extended. I do think it'd be Kellen Moore that would get extended because they'd say
so. Garrett is essentially grooming somebody for his job.
The same thing Wade Phillips was doing for Garrett when Garrett was in OC.
No, I'm not saying you're wrong.
No,
it's just funny.
I just don't see anything.
It's like you're training somebody at your job that's going to take over your job.
Yeah. I mean, the
only thing I would say against that is Jason Garrett does whatever Jerry Jones wants and says. So
Steven's running show more and more now. And that's kind of a thing. Like Stephen Jones does drafting.
I don't think Jerry Jones is going to want to give up any kind of control, though. Like if Sean McVay was available, do you think that Jerry Jones would want him?
If put it this way, not even Sean McVay. If Sean Payton was available, he would fire whatever coach he had to fire to get Sean Payton. And
I'm not so sure.
He's in love with Sean Payton. And the rumors every other year is Sean Payton and Dallas. Sean Payton and Dallas. It's the every other year rumor that's going out, and you can see he's frustrated with Garrett, but the problem is who's better than Garrett that's out there. We didn't know about McVay, to be honest.
There's a lot of people that are better than Garrett.
But like I'm talking about in the year of hiring Shanahan. Shanahan was immediately going to San Francisco. He wanted to be West Coast. That's what he wanted to do. So there's one.
But Shanahan is like one of the top sought after coaches.
Yeah, exactly. And so like when we're looking at a lot of these other cases, so if like Tomlin hasn't been fired, we haven't had a Pete Carroll firing, we haven't had a Sean Payton firing. But after that, like, who are you really going to bring in, to replace Garrett? You have to have a replacement, like you said about, Matthew Stafford. You've got to have a replacement.
You can complain about what you have, but what are you going to get that's better?
That's exactly it. And there's not a lot truly that's really, like the Bengals, they hired a quarterback coach from the Rams. Not a play caller, not an OC, a quarterback coach. When McVay is teaching this guy how to be a quarterback coach. Super Bowl picks. Oh, man, Dallas, New England.
Dallas, New England? I have probably Philly.
And that's just me being just a big Dallas fan on top. But I do think I'm not to the point where I'm freaking out. But like I do believe with the play calling and things.
I am surprised it's still 15-1. That's pretty good value.
And I love seeing what Michael Gallup was able to do. Just seeing that kind of breakthrough and just give him some confidence. Amari Cooper, Randall Cobb looked like a grown man for the first time in a while. Like he just looked like he looked physical.
Randall Cobb.
But like I said, it's week one. Can't get too excited on week one.
You have a reason that you could trash me for. Was it you or was I talking to Brett when I was saying that he's the highest paid tight ends coach with Jason Witten?
Oh, Jason Witten, yeah.
And Jason Witten caught a touchdown. So I've been wrong so far.
Jason Witten, he's there for leadership, and we need a leader in that locker room. Clearly, a lot of people like him. Even like the younger guys are big fans of him. Like Dez didn't get along with a lot of the younger guys, but Jason Witten did. And there's like Jason Witten and Zeke are very good friends. You had Zeke's offensive line telling him not to come back till he had a deal. People weren't all supportive of Zeke not even playing out there till he got a deal, and that tells you a lot whenever that happens. Baltimore, just like I said about the Cowboys, it's week one, relax. You play the Miami Dolphins. Like, I understand what Lamar did. Dak also threw 4 touchdowns. I'm not saying Dak's going to win an MVP or anything, but you play the Miami Dolphins. They're actively tanking.
I asked you while the Patriots game was still going on, I didn't even realize they were playing the Dolphins next week. And I was like, what would the spread have to be for you to bet the Dolphins? You said like 24 or something like that. Which it's never going to be 24. It was 16, though. So it's like...
Oh. Wow, for me, just throwing out a number that's dangerously close right there.
No, you're 8 points off.
Yeah, it's dangerously close to happening, though, is what I'm saying. Like, if they're just expecting to win by 16, they can win by 24 then, and that can be like a realistic thing.
Baltimore just won by 50.
Yeah. I mean, the thing with Baltimore, and I'm not killing Baltimore at all. I mean, yeah, you got a great game. Lamar, the offense looked awesome there. He looked fantastic. But again, you are playing the worst team in football this year, and they are making sure of that too.
Did you know Marquise Brown was Antonio Brown's cousin?
Yes, and he's Hollywood Brown.
I didn't know. I didn't know that he was Antonio Brown's cousin. I also didn't know his first name was not really Hollywood.
Yeah.
I'm looking up in my fantasy leagues. I'm like trying to pick him up like Hollywood. It's like nothing's coming up.
But no, big guy that I'm huge on is Mark Andrews, that tight end, man. Their tight end Mark over there, he looked very good the last half of the season with Lamar. And my thing with Lamar is obviously they're not going to throw bombs every play, but when quarterbacks that struggle, they need a safety net. That tight end is a fantastic safety net. He makes plays. He's from Oklahoma as well, just like Marquise is. And he is, their tight end.
Mark Andrews.
Yes. And
everything we say about that game has to have the caveat that it was against the Dolphins. We get it. But Lamar Jackson looked like he'd throw the football.
Listen, and this is what I'm going to say. I never question his arm strength, but his accuracy, I question the living hell out of all the time because it just came to points when you watch him. And he did play under Petrino. Petrino's not Mr. He likes to go for big plays. Petrino was in, even with Ryan Mallett. Ryan Mallett struggled with accuracy. But one of his best teams in Arkansas,
as somebody who watches a lot of college, I never thought that he was a bad, accuracy quarterback when he was at Louisville. I always thought he was good.
But they also didn't, they tried to stretch the field as much as they could, or he would run the ball 25 times at Louisville, too. It's not like you didn't get to see him, as a pro quarterback at Louisville.
I just never had the questions that everybody else had, he can't throw the football. He got thrown in off the bench without being able to prepare. This is the first season where he had the whole offseason to prepare. They built the team around him.
Yeah.
So he's in a position to succeed. I think he's going to have an awesome season. He could have 1,000 rushing yards.
I think for them to succeed, he can't. Because your quarterback your quarterback can't run the ball. Michael Vick was phenomenal as a dual threat. What killed him in his career was injuries too, and it's because he was trying to be too much of a dual threat.
They were smart about it though. They're not going to run him for no reason.
And that's the thing.
Once they're up,
and they have a lot of running backs too, where they can rely on their run game.
They had 2 running backs with over 15 carries.
Yes, you have enough running backs back there to where you don't have to rely on now your quarterback to run for 20 times. I do think that Baltimore, let's see what happens. Like I said, it's week 1. Can't get
week 1. Don't freak out on your fantasy teams. Don't trade everybody. Don't go pick up all this crazy. It's week 1. It's 1 week.
It's
Hollywood Brown's gonna have 1 target next week. Lamar Jackson's gonna have 1 touchdown or whatever.
Watch him have 7 next week. What is a pro QB?
Well, I don't know shit. So don't listen to me.
Lamar looked good. I get what you're saying, but he played against Miami again, my man. So let's realize you're playing against one of the worst teams. I mean, Miami's also taking players out in the second quarter.
Everything we say about that Ravens win,
I'm not taking away from him. I'm just saying
it just has to be in the scope.
Just be real about it.
It was the Dolphins.
Yeah, be real about it.
They're
the team is actively tanking,
trying to lose.
Don't like I said, don't get too hard and happy. It's week 1. Let's see what it looks like week 9 when he has to see Pittsburgh or somebody. Let's see how the season progresses.
The Browns aren't going to be that bad. The Ravens aren't going to be that good.
It's I don't think here's the same thing. I just don't think that it's not gonna be a consistent theme by any means. Nor would I expect it to be.
I would say just don't. It's week 1. Just don't freak out.
He had a Patrick Mahomes week. Yeah. Is what he had, and that's awesome to say. It's awesome to have under your belt.
The only teams that I would say you can freak out about is Jacksonville losing Nick Foles. As good as their backup looked, for the money they paid him, and he's probably going to be out for most of the season.
Yep.
That doesn't look good. Tyreek Hill had a weird injury where they said he didn't have surgery, but he had
3 or 4 weeks he'll miss.
Weird medical attention at the hospital.
That's gonna be a question 1 as well.
I want to talk about the Lions and Cardinals games a little bit. Not because of the Lions, more because of Kyler Murray. What did you think about that whole thing?
Kyler Murray's arms are absolutely strong. My theme with, like I said earlier with Kyler,
fucking zip it.
I think Kyler just needs to, with his complaining left and right. Listen, dude, it's not the Big 12.
See, I watched the game. I didn't see the same thing that you were seeing.
It was happening towards the end of the game, especially, man. He was
always people hitting him, or
he was saying stuff to the refs about this, pointing at this point. Listen, man, I get it. You're seeing what you're saying. You need to earn your clout in the league before you start demanding calls. Is my thing.
But what was he complaining? I didn't see what was he complaining about?
The end of the game, he was complaining about guys holding. He was complaining about getting hit late. He was complaining about guys coming towards in the pocket. He was just in the ref's ear too consistently. As a rookie, it's just no, dude. I get it. You have to adapt to the league.
Fair enough. I didn't see that, but I believe what you're saying. But for him, to me, to have that terrible of a first half, and then to have the mental toughness to not. He easily could have packed it in, and they could have sucked, and they could have just lost by 20 points.
Well, that's where the offense works out for them.
For him to come back like that, and then like you see Larry Fitzgerald playing with like a joy that he hasn't played with in 10 years because he's never had a good quarterback ever.
That's arguably one of the greatest receivers ever.
Some of the passes that he threw, it's like you could see
his arm talent.
You could see why he's like 5'11", 5 whatever. This guy could throw the fucking ball.
My thing with him, let's see, like I said, another one. It's a long season. Let's see what it looks like. I mean, he's gonna be a fun guy to watch. Like I said, I think Lamar's gonna be a fun guy to see how he develops. Let's see, they're both very similar. Let's see how these guys develop and move on into the league.
And then you also have to give Kyler Murray credit. It's his first ever like career start. He's a rookie. It's his first game. But for him to have like the mental toughness, the poise to come, it's the Lions, so you have to have that with a grain of salt. But he easily could have just packed it in and be like, oh, I suck, whatever I am.
But his talent on the offensive side is he's got Fitzgerald, who's as reliable as a receiver as you can still find these days. Christian Kirk is going to, he got I think it was 9 targets last week, and he's going to develop into more and more. David Johnson, a running back there to help you out. The offensive line is the poor part about it. And that's where, I think it's really going to start hurting him versus Lamar's got more of a push on the offensive line, a stronger offensive line. He can stand back, and also he's a lot. He's just physically a lot bigger.
Some of the second-year guys, how did you feel about, I don't know how much you watched of Darnold and Josh Allen. How did you feel about those guys?
I didn't actually get to watch the Jets game yet, so I can't
You didn't really miss much, I'll be honest.
I didn't watch the Jets game yet, and I'm kind of like, that's a game I still want to watch. Like you said, I want to see how those two get better. When I was watching second-year guys, I was all over Michael Gallup, to be honest with you. I was just watching how he was looking because I don't believe that you can throw a receiver the ball 15, 16 times and be a dominating team. You know what I mean? You can't pinpoint one receiver all year and let that translate into the postseason. You know
Who
what
are you talking about?
Like if like what I said about the Texans with DeAndre Hopkins, phenomenal receiver. The Falcons, phenomenal receiver with Julio. But you have to have other receivers around. Like Amari Cooper can't be the only targeted guy. And that's what happened last year. Towards the end, it kind of started to look a little bland. They
were telegraphing where it's going every time.
And now it's now we can see Gallup start to get his breakout. I watched James Washington if Big Ben would have hit him a couple times, James Washington would have had a couple scores. Washington's fast, man. He's 4.3 speed. He gets in and out of his cuts. He looks great on that. When we're looking at when I watched the Bears game, and even though I was looking out for our rookie with David Montgomery. I didn't think it was a fair slate, obviously.
Oh yeah, they didn't use him enough.
Game,
whatever, yeah.
It's going to be a guy week 6 or 7 is going to go into. When we start really going more into with these quarterbacks, Baker, I saw that game and I just thought, wow, man, you look horrendous.
We didn't talk too much about that game. That was one of the more hyped teams coming into the season. How did you feel about the Browns? Obviously, it's a lot of hype and everything like that, but how did you feel about the game overall?
It was hard for me to jump on the Browns bandwagon to begin with.
They went right down on the first drive, and then after that, it was just what the fuck is going on?
It's hard. It was always hard for me to jump on them just because your head coach has no head coaching experience at any level.
I think it kind of showed too.
It does show. It's
with the play calling and everything. I think they ran Chubb 12 times.
And my thing is, they're going to get two. They're going to get two. The teams that buy a lot in free agency or get all these star players, they sometimes get
it's
too
like the
lost
Eagles of a couple years ago.
Yes, you get lost in too much of what you have versus working with what you have, working on a system.
You know what I kind of felt? I kind of felt almost like Baker was trying to do too much. A lot of the sacks he took was because he didn't want to get rid of the ball. He was trying to make every play. I think they really kind of felt some of that hype. Jarvis Landry was acting like a bitch after the game.
Oh, man, but that's been him since Miami. He's always he's now, I'm going to scream and talk to everybody.
Somebody just said hey, and I hate when people talk like this to reporters, and all the guy's doing is his job. He said, and he didn't ask a crazy question.
Yeah.
He said, do you think that the lack of preseason reps affected how you played today? He's like, don't ask me that question. It's like, fuck you. It's part of your job to talk to the media. You say, don't ask me that question.
My thing when it comes to media, and I agree, some questions
but
are
he didn't
out
ask
of line.
him a disrespectful question.
It wasn't an out-of-line question.
He just said, do you think that lacking preseason reps affected how you guys played today? He's like, don't ask me that question. It's like, who are you? You're Jarvis Landry. You average 1.5 yards per catch. A CVS receipt is longer than your
yards after catch. Jesus Christ, that's so possible too. Is the worst part about it. But when you really,
I think it's super mad about it. But it's you're Jarvis Landry.
Yeah,
man.
no, but it's like OBJ wearing the $200,000 watch. It's like, listen,
it was $350,000.
I don't care what they wear on the field, but it's like, listen, there are times when
I've never seen that before. Have you?
I've seen it in baseball when these guys wear their chains. Like when
but not a watch though.
Yeah, Cespedes is wearing these this big chain with his diamonds, and each diamond's worth $50,000. The one that like they had to find in the dirt, all this stuff, each diamond's worth like $50,000.
It's the watch.
And if I'm playing shortstop there and I see one, I'm kicking some dirt on it and
I had this uncomfortable.
doing what I got to
metal
do, man. 50K is 50K.
Shoved up my ass for
Sorry.
2 years.
But it's like, when you really look at it with the Browns, they need to get over themselves. And Baker is a part of that. Listen, Baker, I get it. When he grabbed his crotch, he did it against Kansas, who didn't win a game that year.
This is the whole thing. When you're winning, it's cockiness, and when you're losing, you're being a dick.
And it's also
all based on results.
It also goes to the point too. If Cam Newton ever grabbed his crotch,
Well, there's one big difference there. I can't really put my finger on it, but
he did Superman.
let me just say one's a cracker.
He did a Superman. But Baker just gets away with this, he's just got an attitude. He's an underdog. Okay, but like, you know what? You also have to back up
Cam
what
Newton,
you're doing.
Cam Newton's arrogant, and Baker Mayfield is confident.
Yeah, like that's
It's very,
you
very
see what I'm
coded
saying?
language.
Like, yeah, and that's another thing when I look at when I watch Baker when he was at when he came into the league. Yeah, he looked good last year, but let's look at his numbers when he played against playoff teams. He was 1-5 against playoff teams last year. That's not a good record.
I love Baker forever. I love Baker forever for what he did when he planted the flag in the Ohio State game.
Harbaug's still waiting to do that. I had to throw that one.
I mean, I don't even know what I can say. I'm going to back myself up.
You might never be able to do it.
I almost quit the goddamn team.
According to Chase, and I agree on that one.
Not only, not to get back to that too much, but you just watch teams. It doesn't matter if they're playing against each other, but it looks different when Ohio State's playing Cincinnati than when Michigan is playing Army.
Well, it's like when I watched Florida State.
Why are we struggling against Army?
Florida State had the same issue last year when they played that D1 AA team in week 2, where their starters were in the whole game. It's like, that's a problem.
We got
man.
Josh Gaddis. We got a new offense. What's the new offense? Run it up the middle 50 times?
Well, same with Florida State. We got Bryles' son.
Great.
Okay, so Bryles' son's calling plays now. It's like, doesn't look much better.
You have Cam Akers. Why don't you run him into the line 50 times?
And I didn't get attacked this last week. Remember the hysterical thing? Dehydration is why we lost to Boise State.
Fuck it all.
Boise State seemed perfectly hydrated. Why didn't you guys? You guys practice in Tallahassee. It's in your backyard. You know where you know the weather in Tallahassee.
I love that too by Boise State because it was supposed to be a neutral site in Jacksonville, and then they said because of the hurricane we're moving it to Tallahassee. They said, fuck it, we'll play in Tallahassee.
And the best part about that is
they didn't complain about it, and they
it
went
was
in there
adjustments, and that game was won off coaching because adjustments. Like, and I'm coming back to attacking you guys at Florida State just because, like, you know what? You guys are really happy about the year, and I get it. You need to be excited, but you guys need to be very realistic with yourself.
The same way that I knew Boise State was going to beat FSU in that game is the same way that I know Kentucky is going to beat Florida.
When schools start losing a lot of games in just a few amount of years, they lose a lot of recruits really quickly. And that happens.
People pay attention to that kind of shit.
Yeah, because kids don't want to go play for a school, like, especially in Miami. What if Miami makes a jump in like these next 8 weeks to where they only lose 3 games this year? Well, and they look like, hey, this looks like a promising group.
Everyone's saying like, oh, you're 0-2, and now how does it look with like the turnover chain and then like the rings and everything? It still matters if you do that kind of stuff because recruits look at that and like, oh, like kids.
Manny Diaz is a great recruiter too.
Not you, but more me. We're old. I'm old.
Yeah.
Kids like that kind of shit.
Yeah, no, I like. To be, it's like they're trying to bring back the swagger.
You want to go to the Hurricanes with the pinky rings, or you want to go to Akron Zips with a turnover pencil?
Man, if that's your choices between the 2 schools,
what is that?
I want to know why you're looking at Akron, or why is Miami looking at you?
What does the defense have? A turnover whiteout? What is this shit?
The pencil, dude, that was great. That was awesome.
FSU is the worst though with a backpack. Like that was a serious thing. What a backpack?
I didn't like it.
Dora the Explorer?
I just didn't like it. I mean, I look at it as a whole, man. When you just look at, like I said, when you look at what's going on with college football, I mean, Florida as a whole is obviously taking a big turn. Miami and then Florida State. We're talking about big 3.
Sucks except for UCF.
I mean, I still think, Florida's still a solid program coming in right now. I think they should win 10 games. Florida should win 10 games.
You're going to lose to Kentucky.
We'll have this conversation on that one for sure.
Jameis Winston, I just had this pulled up. I think he's pretty much done. He might be a starter, but it's going to be for like a shitty team.
It's just, no, he's Blake Bortles. He's going to be Blake Bortles. He's going to be a backup somewhere.
He's not even Blake Bortles because he's Blake Bortles with more turnovers. At least Blake Bortles just checks down all the time. Jameis Winston.
I'm just saying from like where he's going to be at. Like Blake Bortles went from being a back quarterback to being a back. We never got another starting opportunity.
Jameis Winston single-handedly lost that game.
Yeah, that's been a reoccurring thing.
Well, every year we go in, it's like, oh, if Jameis Winston can just get rid of the turnovers, he'll be a good quarterback. Every year it's the turnovers.
You know how many quarterbacks can say that about in their life, though? Like, let's be very honest. I mean,
but he has the talent, but every year it's the turnovers.
My thing with him is, and like we had the talk earlier about, Should quarterbacks do their homework? Yes. Do quarterbacks not do their homework? Watch Jameis Winston. You can clearly see he's not doing any homework.
Those are not even like.
And he was number 1 pick.
Yeah, those are not even like athletic picks. That's just like you throw it into the flat and the guy jumps the route.
Yes.
It's like the defense, the defender runs the route better than your receiver. He just knows more than. Tom Brady never.
He's telegraphing the pass with his eyes too.
Tom Brady never has one of those where he throws it into the flat and it's a pick six.
Well, it's like Breeze had a really ugly pick yesterday where he was like running on his back foot, throws on his back foot across his body. I'm just looking at him like, dude, you look like Eli right there.
Yeah.
You just look like
it might be like a downfield throw, but
step in like
those picks in the flat that get returned for pick sixes
like
are
Blake.
game changers, and it's just you're a losing quarterback if you're doing that.
And it's like when you look at, I just think this is Winston. Winston, I don't think will start the whole season for sure. I think someone's going to come in
Who's
for
the
Winston.
backup? I don't even know.
I don't know, but I think they're going to figure something out. To be honest with you, I mean, I just don't see
Trade
Winston.
for Tannehill?
Well, put it this way: if you start 1-3, you're not trying to win anymore. Because if you start 1-3, it's very tough to make the playoffs from there.
If you start 0-2, your season. It sounds weird to say, but if you start 0-2, like mathematically, your season.
Oh no! Like your percentage dropped like 60%.
Yeah.
And it's just it's a tough hole to climb out of. That see, that's a.
They have Blaine Gabbert.
And he honestly, man, if we're talking about turnovers and that's like the difference maker, Blaine Gabbert may be better than him on that one. Depends on your division. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. But this division, I think, is going to, with the Saints in that division, I think that's going to be a tough division to.
They're not winning the division.
No.
And they're not going to get the wild card in the NFC.
No, because, I mean, you still have 2 teams in the NFC East that will get a wild card. And then you have, I think, a team in the NFC North who will get a wild card. Like, those are the 2 teams in the NFC I think get wild cards.
I almost could see 3 teams. It's tough to get from one division. But I can make a case for the Bears, Packers, and Vikings.
Vikings have a strong case, but let's see. Like I said, they have to. Number one, Dalvin's got to stay healthy. If Dalvin's
he looked good, man.
But
it's all about health.
When he's healthy, he does look very good. He looks like a first-round guy, but it's like when he's not, it's like he's just not healthy. And I hate when we say that about players. It's like,
it's every NFL
yeah,
player.
like that's like literally like there are a lot of good quality players that just can't stay in.
Jameis's backup is Blaine Gabbert and Ryan Griffin.
Oh man, well I don't think we'll see Jameis starting the whole season, believe it or not. I mean,
unless they make a trade, Blaine Gabbert is not going to take over Jameis's job.
We'll see about the NFC West. I don't know. I think
San Francisco didn't even necessarily look good. It was just because they played Jameis Winston.
No, yeah, the Jameis is like horrendous, dude. I mean, I'm not saying, okay, horrendous is strong, but for a team, they were the worst team to score 35 points that week. There we go. That's a better way of saying it. They weren't 35 points on. They weren't, that was a shock for them to score 35 for me, at least.
Spotted them 14 with the pick sixes.
Yes, exactly. It was a 21-point
offensive
battle.
The Dolphins-Patriots spread is 18.5 now.
See, I'm telling you,
it's going to get to 24.
If it gets to 24, dude.
How high does it have to go for you to take the Dolphins?
Now 28. I need a 4-touchdown lead.
I know I'm going to wind up taking the 18.
Dude, I just watched Lamar Jackson with Marquise Brown and Mark Andrews throw 5 touchdowns. This man's got Edelman, Gordon, and Antonio Brown now. I need a 4-touchdown cushion.
I already know I'm going to take the Dolphins plus 18.5, and I'm going to be pissed when they're down 21-0 in the first quarter.
Yeah, man, that would be very upset. But it's like what I'm seeing with Dallas. Our first 3 games are winnable games. We just had New York, we got Washington, now we got Miami after that, and then we see the Saints in New Orleans. So I'm like, we should start the season, in my opinion, 3-0 is what we should walk into, and we get our big challenge in New Orleans. And yeah, I mean, the Dolphins should have the worst record this year.
Yeah, well, he said worst spreads every game, but 18.5 is not normal.
That's college football.
18.5 is like
that doesn't happen in the NFL.
Michigan was favored over Army 22.
Yes, exactly.
That NFL does not happen.
No, that
18.5.
It's very tough for that to happen. I mean, it's just even when the Browns went winless, they were still in some games at points. It wasn't like they were It wasn't like, oh my God, they're getting blown up by 40 every game.
And it's 18.5 at home. So theoretically, if the Dolphins were on the road, it would be 21.5.
Yeah. And Foxborough, definitely.
It's just gonna be a sideways 8. It's gonna be an infinity. They're just gonna take it off the board.
The Eagles had a slow start. What do you think about Carson Wentz's slow start?
I'm gonna take the Dolphins plus 18.5. I know.
Oh, don't do it, dude. Don't do it.
What'd you say, Carson Wentz?
What do you think about his? I mean, he came back and played great, but he had a slow start.
I had the Eagles minus 9.5, so I was pretty pissed when they had the backdoor cover on that 6 seconds left. But forget my betting aside, it was. Why are the Eagles struggling against the Redskins at home?
I think Keenum just looked really good to start, and then it just kind of it was a good first half by one team, and the better team finished it off, is what I saw.
Everybody's picking the Eagles to go to the Super Bowl.
Oh,
I know it's week 1. You don't want to overreact. But how are you struggling against the Redskins?
It's still a divisional game, so it's supposed to like what you talked about when we were talking about the spread with the Cowboys, and I said I think the Cowboys should win that game heavily.
Well, the funny part about it is everything I said on the podcast where I was like, I think it's a divisional game. I take the Redskins and the points. I still bet the Eagles. So I said something and
Don't
I did.
take his betting advice on the show then.
I said it.
Doesn't take his own.
I said it and I did the opposite. And I'm like, what an idiot.
Which game do you pick, the Dolphins and Survivor? I'm going with
Never. You don't have to pick them in a Survivor League.
the Bills.
No, there's only 17 weeks. You don't ever have to pick the Dolphins.
Well, let's say we have to pick the Dolphins.
No, they're going 0-16.
They're not going 0-16.
You want to make a bet?
What was your $20?
If they go 0-16, I win 20. If they don't, you win 10.
Here we go. Live. Let's see if we're picking that's a good question. Let's see here.
What game are they going to win?
Bengals, possibility.
The Bengals looked all right, though. AJ Green's going to be back for that game.
Will he?
I don't know.
Will he? You got the Bengals. I think as long as you have the Bills and the Jets in that division, you still have an opportunity to win. I'm not saying they are bad teams, but they're not
Other than the Bengals, what else do you have for maybe a win? Maybe they'll win a weird game.
The Browns.
The Browns?
They just put up.
They suck again?
I'm just saying, we're saying possibilities. What do you want me to name? You want me to name the Steelers? You want me to name the Chargers? I can't name much better people. I'm picking their schedule on who I would pick, what Survivor week.
But you don't have to pick them in Survivor because you only have to pick 17 teams.
I'm just going with the fans here, man. I'm just trying to help. If he was asking
Be honest with him. Tell him never pick the Dolphins in a Survivor.
Sometimes I'm too honest. I want him to have some fun with the Dolphins.
The Survivor Leagues, people were sweating out the Seahawks this week. People were sweating out the Eagles for Survivor picks.
You say that. Hold on. I won a Survivor League because the first Monday night game you guys had in Detroit, you guys won. I was the only one that picked Detroit. And I won that Survivor League. This happened 6 years ago, dude. You guys' first Monday night game you had in Detroit, 5 years ago. And I remember I was the only one who picked the Lions.
Everybody picked the other team?
Everyone picked all these other groups, and that lost, and I picked the Lions, and I was told I was
You won on week 1?
No, there's week 5
and you
or
won
6.
with the Lions?
Yeah, man. It was Monday night. First time in Detroit in 20 years. I'm like, Detroit's going to be fucking... There'd be no crime in the city. It's going to be so packed in there, dude.
I don't even know what to say to that. Do your crime now.
There's no way, It was a damn near purge out there at some point, man. Then the sirens going off, all it meant was this Monday Night Football. Good old Hank singing from the rooftop.
Oh, my God.
It was beautiful, man. I won my Survivor League. So maybe Miami can win a Survivor League at some point. Don't bet on it, but,
Don't ever pick Miami in a Survivor League.
Oh, man.
Ever.
What if they had...
You only have to pick 16 or 17 teams. Never pick Miami.
If it lasts that long.
Never.
If it lasts on, that would be a very tense Survivor League.
This spread this week is going to be their closest spread. It was 6.5.
Yes.
They lost by 50.
So what are you looking at this week coming up? Who are you picking this weekend? Because what we should probably start doing is keeping track of who we think should win and lose. That way we can have a record. You know what they do on Monday night and whatnot.
Yeah. We can do some bets and stuff like that. I haven't really looked at the lines too much. I see the Thursday night game is Tampa Carolina.
Carolina.
Yeah, but it's -7 though.
Well, I'm just going off who I'm picking to win the game at this point.
No, you got to go by the spreads.
All right, we'll go by the spread.
We're professionals here. We got to go by the spreads. Anyone can just pick a winner.
Carolina, it's at home.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just watched Jameis beat Jameis.
What if he eats a W though? You're not afraid of that?
Oh, dude. The only thing I'm afraid of is watching him suck on his fingers again. And do you see Quan Alexander helmet to helmet him? Got kicked out right away.
Yeah, that just shows how much respect he has for him, which is 0.
He never really had a lot over there to begin with.
The Colts, I think the Colts were pretty impressive as far as everyone. I knew this was going to happen. Everyone's counting them out because of Andrew Luck and everything like that.
Brissett looked good.
Brissett looked all right.
Marlon Mack looked great.
The Chargers only play close games.
My thing is with people on fantasy when it comes to Marlon Mack, don't forget that offensive line is still very, very good.
Quentin Nelson is going to wind up being one of the best offensive linemen of all time. This is his second season.
Yes.
He's the right guard. He was an All-Pro and a Pro Bowler. His rookie Pro Bowl is one thing, but All-Pro, that means you're the best at your
very
position.
Travis Frederick-like. I like it.
Well, the Cowboys' offensive line is just.
Well, like I said, we got it. I'm not excited yet, but I want to see what we look like at New Orleans.
It sounds like a football nerd type thing to say, but one of my favorite players to watch is Tyron Smith.
Oh, dude, yeah.
And if you're ever watching a Cowboys game, instead of you always focus on the quarterback or whatever, just focus on the left tackle. Focus on Tyron Smith. He just destroys people.
And a lot of people said we made the wrong pick because the pick after was J.J. Watt. I'm like, we went,
just as good as J.J.
best pass protector,
and more healthy.
Yeah, it's like, to be honest with you, it's like either team wins on that one.
Just as good as J.J. Watt. Yeah.
It's not a premier position that people love to watch because Payne, like I told people, like with the Tunsil trade, when people were freaking out about Miami trading Tunsil, it's like
you got to take the picks.
Because you're gonna the difference between a left tackle and a right tackle are like tens of millions of dollars annually.
Well, I mean, if it winds up that the Dolphins get Tua, it's going to be a right tackle instead of a left tackle, anyways.
Yeah,
Tua's lefty,
I mean,
right?
that's I just think that you don't I didn't want them getting Jadeveon because if you're gonna do your fire sale, do it correctly.
The Seahawks getting him was just perfect, though. Like,
it worked great for Seattle, man.
To add him to that defense, like,
because Seattle knows they're gonna have to get after the Rams, man.
They got rid of Frank Clark and they got Jadeveon Clowney for like half the price, and they still
for the
have
year.
And they still have Bobby Wag. Yeah,
I mean, next year Jadeveon's coming on that.
He's gonna get paid.
Yeah, he's coming on that. I want that $100 million contract, which he'll probably get.
He'll go to the Jets or something like that. One of those stupid teams. Lions next week are playing the Chargers. Lions are +3. Lions
Chargers.
suck. I don't know.
Picking Chargers.
Bills, Giants. Giants are at home +1. I have no damn idea. Both teams suck. Bills.
I can't pick the division, man. You know this.
I mean, I guess.
I can't. I physically won't.
I don't know.
My boy Ryan P. I'm going with your Bills.
I'm sticking with Kyler Murray. I liked what he showed. I will take Cardinals are +13.5 at home against the Ravens are at home.
Oh, 13.5?
Yeah, the Ravens are kind of hyped because of what they just did.
The Ravens defense is good.
Yeah, that's fine. And it's going to be his first road game, and Baltimore's a tough place to play. But
Ravens will win that game. To win by 2 touchdowns, I agree with you on that one.
13.5?
Yeah,
I mean,
win by 2 touchdowns, I agree with you on that one.
They looked all right. I know I'm going to. It's Patriots, Dolphins.
I don't even care if the spread is Patriots.
Dolphins +18.5.
They can make the spread 40, and I'm still picking the
I know I'm
Patriots,
going to take the Dolphins. I know I'm going to lose. But it's 18.5 points.
It's only going to climb up, and I'm still going to say yes.
It started at like 16.
It's going to just keep going.
Cowboys road against Redskins. Cowboys -4.5.
Yeah, I got to pick the Cowboys. And not just because I think that, obviously, they're going to win. I just think that that's a good. I mean, I can go with that spread and believe that we should be able to win by a touchdown.
Whatever I say on here is going to be the right pick, and then I'm going to wind up doing the other thing. Like, I'm going to say, oh, it's a divisional game. The Redskins are at home. I'll take the 4.5. And I'm going to pick the Cowboys -4.5.
Because you're going to just wake up and realize, no, that's not the right thing.
I don't want to bet on Case Keenum.
I think differently on Tuesday than I do on Saturday.
When I make my bets, I imagine the quarterback I bet on holding my money. It's like, do I want Case Keenum holding my money in the fourth quarter?
He's
No.
holding a lot of money in his bank account right now.
Yeah, that's not going to be mine.
I wish it was.
Jags-Texans is going to be a good game. Gardner Minshew, the creative player. The Jags are +9.5.
Texans should win that game by 10, dude.
He looks like a creative player.
He's a creative player.
But not like just a creative player you just made, not like that ultimate creative player that you're like, oh, let's just make this guy, see what he can do. They're like, oh, just this guy to like put in a role or whatever, you know? It's like, you know, when you're playing
salad.
It's like when
Minshew.
you're playing a franchise mode and you're like 5 years into the future and just like auto-generated draft guys. That's who his name and that's what he looks like. Like that's what I think
he said
of.
just stay away from the Patriots-Dolphins game.
Yeah, God, yeah. I'm definitely
18.5. I can't stress it enough how many points that is for an NFL spread.
That's a lot.
Insane.
But I mean, it's so hard not to do that when you just saw like, okay, let's kick out Demaryius Thomas. Okay, well, we have Antonio Brown. It's really no big deal.
And then the Dolphins score a weird touchdown first, and then you're giving up 18.5, and you're down 7-0.
The Dolphin fans are like halfway passed out because they scored first. And then like the rest of the game happens.
There's not going to be any Dolphins fans there, I'll tell you that. Seahawks and Steelers, that's going to be one of the best games of the week.
What's that looking like?
Seahawks are +4 on the road. Ben Roethlisberger did not look great.
Man, he missed a lot of passes that game.
I know they were playing the Steelers. I know they were playing the Patriots and everything, but Seahawks defense is pretty good as well.
Yeah, but the Patriots defense isn't known as like this premier lockdown defense either. Like they're a good
their defense is pretty good this year.
They are a good defense, but I'm not saying like this isn't like a top 3 defense we're looking at. Like Ben should have been able to throw in a touchdown in that game. He should have been able to.
You see, there was like 6 seconds left, and Belichick called a timeout to get his sub in for like the linebacker. He's like, I'm not allowing a touchdown. I was like, and then Mike Tomlin's just like, what the fuck is going on?
I think it's a personal vendetta. Like the franchises hate each other.
Did you hear the soundbite that they asked after the game, or before the game, or whatever it was? for Ben Roethlisberger, hey, do you have any comment about Antonio Brown going to the Patriots? He's like, whatever.
Know what that sounded like? Know what that sounded like when it's like, hey, did you hear so-and-so's with this guy now? Yeah, whatever. That's exactly what that sounded like.
I don't even care anyways.
Like, I don't care.
Got a little dick.
I don't talk to her. I don't even talk to her. I don't even text her. She blocked me. It's okay.
Gain weight.
But that's what it sounded like. Yeah, like it's just like, all right, Ben, like, you know, you can wipe the shit off your mouth and stop being so angry
I'm
right
just
now. Like,
really, my Christmas present, I want Antonio Brown to call Bill Belichick a cracker.
My thing is, if you're a team leader, then like be a team leader. Like just like actually like you can't start yelling and cursing out people. Like Tom gets mad, but the difference is there's a respect. Like,
what it sounded like to me was when he said whatever, he's like, I should have retired 2 years ago.
Well, he was threatening it over and over again. Then Mason Rudolph gets drafted. He's like, are you kidding? I was going to play 8 more years. Like, dude, you've been
another creative player
for 4
named
years.
Mason Rudolph.
He's got an arm. Guy can play.
He's got a red nose.
Hey, you know what?
Bada bing.
I would look into him in the next couple seasons, see what happens.
I don't know what that means.
Well, like if Big Ben's gonna be there for 2 more years, he could be
his contract's gonna be up by then.
Well, you know, we'll see what goes on. I don't think Big Ben's gonna truly play another 2 years. I think he's gonna realize it and be like,
a team that did not impress me at all against another team that also sucks is 49ers Bengals. I would not be mad if I don't see any of that game on Red Zone.
What's the bet on that one?
It's Bengals at home -1.5.
I'm taking the Bengals.
It seems like Vegas is just like, fuck it, 1.5. Who
yeah,
cares?
that's such a bad. I hate when they do that.
1.5, because then you know that the Bengals are going to win 21-20 and you're going to lose by half a point.
Yeah, like what kind of stuff is that?
I don't care at all.
That causes domestic violence.
Well, especially if you live in Ohio and if you're Joe Mixon.
God. Boomer Sooner.
Vikings Packers. Yeah, it's gonna be a good game. Packers at home -3. I'll go with Aaron Rodgers at home there. Chiefs, Raiders, wow.
I think the Packers defense, like I said last podcast, I know it was only week 1, but I think that defense is going to be the most surprising defense coming into this year. I want to see what happens with that. Like, Aaron Rodgers is a very good defense. It's going to be dangerous. But if he doesn't have to go out there and score 28 and his defense looks good and he doesn't turn the ball, because you can see he doesn't turn the ball. He'll throw the ball in the dirt before he throws the ball and forces one. But Aaron Rodgers is a great defense. That's going to be a dangerous team this year.
What do you mean by Vegas trying to curb the parlays? Because 1.5 doesn't really make that much of a difference if it's pick 'em. I mean, I'm not saying you're right or wrong. I'm just curious what you're saying there. Chiefs are on the road. Patrick Mahomes kind of looked like he had a sprained ankle or something. Thank God he didn't have. If he would have torn his ACL, I'd have been so pissed.
If he looked like he had a sprained ankle, I want to know which ankle sprained, because this man's still
he could throw 60 yards off one leg.
Yeah, dude, it's unbelievable. They should beat Oakland. What's the spread on the Oakland game?
Raiders at home +9.
Yep, taking the Kansas City.
Yeah, but everyone thought last night Denver -3.
We're talking about Denver and Kansas City, though.
Yeah, but Denver's defense is a lot better than Kansas City's defense.
But we're also talking about the offensive movement on that, just the fact that
Joe Flacco,
Patrick Mahomes made Sammy Watkins look very, very good.
Everybody had Sammy Watkins on their bench.
Bro, rightfully so, though.
And then next week, this is what Sammy Watkins does. Everyone has him on the bench. Next week, they'll start him. He'll get 1 target for 3 yards.
Then he'll pull his hamstring.
It's the Sammy Watkins. We all know this. We've all had him at one point.
$15 million a year he makes. Did you know that?
Yeah, he makes a lot of money.
Yeah, and he only had 400 receiving yards out of 5,000 last year. Mahomes, unbelievable. Ginger Jesus Revenge tour. Okay, I don't know what we're doing with that one.
Are you talking about?
He's got to be talking about the only redheaded quarterback.
Andy Dalton?
Yeah, I mean, it's not talking about Jason Garrett. How about
Cortland Sutton?
Yeah, Cortland Sutton look awesome.
Dre, are you blacked out already?
I mean, Cortland Sutton was awesome.
Said easier to pick a pick'em than get effed over on a last second. Yeah, I mean, if you watched the game last night with the, I hate penalties so much.
That was clearly a penalty, though. Quincy Johnson.
I know. It's just so annoying. It's just
bro, don't dive into it. In every level of football, it's a penalty.
That was not a penalty last night. He barely touched. Stretch was there.
He touch the kicker.
Barely touched his foot.
You can't touch him though, because it's if we have to make the game safe for quarterbacks and receivers and everyone else, you have to make it safe for a kicker.
No, you don't. Fuck the kickers.
That's awful. That's probably your best player on the team is Prater. You realize that.
Yeah, that's fine. We have no good players.
He's on my fantasy team. Love Prater.
It's the Lions. We get injured with our best linebacker doing a celebration dance.
That's great.
Saints, Texans.
Rams and Saints.
Yeah,
There we go.
Saints, Texans is what we were talking about.
Rams Saints. That's a solid one right there.
Isn't that a rematch for the NFC Championship?
It's the rematch for Sean Payton to cry for another 6 years and make New Orleans go fight it in court.
You know,
but they want to fight the levies and Katrina.
It's Rams. I mean, they got their rule. They got basically a rule named after them.
You know what? Don't throw an interception after that, then, Drew Brees.
No, I agree.
You know,
we're on the same page. They had a chance to still win the game after that. I'm not.
I just hate their fans doing that.
I'm just saying the rule was made because of that. But for me, it's Rams minus 2.5. Rams at home. New England is going.
I'm taking the Saints on that one.
No. For me, the week one doesn't matter as much. But when you start getting into shorter weeks, you have 6 days, 5 days to prepare. New England is going out west to the Rams. Decent home field advantage. And then you have Drew Brees not in a dome. I think that matters.
I really like New Orleans' defense, man. New Orleans' front seven is. New Orleans' defense is tough.
Yeah, but Drew Brees not at home in a dome. It's very different as far as the offense goes.
And I agree with that, but at the same time, I still believe,
And Aaron Donald is going to be in his face all night.
But that's it. It's just only Aaron Donald on that defense lately.
It's more than just that. I'm pretty sure they still have. The Florida guy.
Fowler hasn't lived up to expectations since he's
They have more than just Aaron Donald, though.
I'm just talking about when it comes to what's a player that I fear on that defense. On the Rams, there's only one
Aaron
guy.
Donald is like the best player in the league.
Yeah, no, and I get that, but that's the only guy, though. It's like, even when Ndamukong Suh was with you guys, he was the best player in the league on defense at that time, especially as an interior guy. I mean, he was up there with like Von Miller and a lot of other guys with JJ. Yeah. But I mean,
he was never what Aaron Donald is.
No, but nobody's been what Aaron Donald is either. I think Aaron Donald's he's a whole new different person.
Yeah, the kicker definitely sold the penalty on that game.
Listen, dude, don't dive into the kicker. It's a simple known thing. If you can't stop,
but he barely touched him,
bro. Like, I'm sorry, man. If you can't hit a receiver going full speed because you accidentally hit his helmet to helmet, then you know what? You can't touch a kicker. Like, it's just that simple.
Barely touched him.
I get it, dude, but listen, I'm not gonna be Mr. Protect this guy, protect this, and kickers wear no padding whatsoever. They literally on a stationary position. You can get hurt as a kicker if someone diving into your knee like that.
He didn't need to fall down like that.
Listen,
credit to him for selling it. That's fine. The game should have gone to overtime.
The rookie should not have been a rookie and should have, realize that, hey, you can't do that in any level of football is my point, though.
Yeah, and it's frustrating every time it happens,
and
too.
And actually, the NFL has the most leeway in that level of football and diving into a kicker. It's put in your mind as a long time to don't touch the kicker.
And I don't really care. I had plus 7.5, so I would have won either way. But I just want to see it go to overtime, and I was like, whatever. People were going crazy, though, I had no idea what anyone was even rooting for. I was with Stretch at Denketsu, and I had no idea what everyone was cheering for every play. I had no idea what the hell everyone was rooting for.
That's a fun one.
Yeah, it was a good game. Bears Broncos. I don't even need to know what the total is. I would take the under on that one. It's 40. That's actually kind of low. But Broncos are plus 2.5 at home.
Taking the Bears. I don't think the Bears are going 0-2.
Yeah.
I just don't see the Bears going 0-2 on that one, man.
2.5 is not like a significant spread either. And then as soon as I say that, it's going to be like I said, 21-20 or some shit like that.
I would take the Bears on that. It's just really tough for me to believe that the Bears are, just because the way Denver looked yesterday. Denver didn't look all that great yesterday, honestly. Not even on defense they looked that great.
They lost to the Raiders.
Now, Chubb dominated. That's a guy, Bradley Chubb dominated. He should have been the number one pick in my opinion, not Baker that year. But Bradley Chubb dominated coming off the end. And then you have Von Miller. I just think that team in Denver, I think Flacco is going to hold that team back so far, and Drew Lock's hurt, so he's not going to be playing this year.
That one of the games last week that I was paying attention to when it was Colts and Chargers, both of those D lines were just destroying the other team's quarterback. Mm-hmm. That Chargers defensive line is going to be a problem for
That's
people.
why I really was pulling for them to get Clowney, man. I thought that just would have been a match made in heaven.
Yeah.
That's how you beat the Chiefs, with Clowney, with Ingram,
still
and
going to
with
be
Bosa.
a problem though.
It is, yes, it is.
Those guys,
especially when they get Derwin James back.
Those guys cannot. Yeah, hopefully it's going to be a while though. I think it's going to be week 8 or 9.
Yeah, but that's enough time to obviously go. At 6-2 or at 5-3 and be able to have a premier defender back out there.
I guess we could talk about the Melvin Gordon thing a little bit. It didn't look like they missed him at all. Austin Eckler looked pretty good.
They're going to trade him.
Jackson.
I think the price is going to drop in a week or two because they're going to realize they want to get something out of him. Guys, I think it's stupid. The way that Steelers handled that was idiotic. You don't just hold someone and get nothing out of them, Out
of spite.
Yeah. Franchises don't think that way. That's a Pittsburgh thing. That's just what they do. But I do think that the price is going to drop because they're going to realize, hey, we don't need Melvin. We have Eckler. We have Jackson.
Who went to the Texans?
It was Carlos Hyde.
Yeah. What did he go for? Like a third?
Yeah.
So Melvin Gordon's got to go for better than that.
I
think,
mean,
right?
but the problem is Melvin has this expectation of getting paid, so I think that's what's going to slow
whoever
things down.
trades for him is going to have to assume
I think the
that they're gonna pay him.
49ers or the Falcons are really those two.
But they have Devontae Freeman and they have
Devontae, his production's dropped every year since he got that contract. He's on his last year.
He looked like shit.
Yeah, I mean, Devontae Freeman hasn't looked good in 2 years.
Tevin Coleman didn't look great.
Tevin
Breida
Coleman
didn't look great.
and Breda looks awful, and then McKinnon's on IR again. He can get cut next year, like next offseason. They won't get hurt on the cap
Patriots
on
will
it.
trade a 7th rounder for him.
I'm breaking my computer. I'm breaking it.
I'm just rooting for it at this
Just
point.
done, dude. I'm like, I have Melvin on my fantasy, but I love it. Yeah, but like, I'm breaking my computer.
How much of a crazy fantasy swing is that? If you drafted Antonio Brown, he goes from possibly being cut, not playing, and then instead of the Raiders, now he's on the Patriots.
I actually have been contemplating hanging myself the past like 3 days,
Christ.
only because someone said let's do Jarvis and Tony Brown straight up, right when all the issues with the Raiders going on.
Wait, what?
He wanted to do Jarvis and Tony Brown straight up when he was having the issue with the Raiders, like right before he got kicked off the Raiders. And I was like, oh man, I already have issues with Kareem, I already have issues with with Melvin. I just have a team of issues. I'm like, I can't.
You drafted a questionable locker room.
And then I like, you know what? I was like, I got to stick with them. And then I already have Tom Brady, and I see the news, and I was like, hey man, like, you want to make that trade? But this like 10 minutes before, and he was like, yeah, let me get back home and I'll send it to you. He calls me. He's like, hey, man, we're not doing that trade, right? I was like, yeah, no, I didn't think so at this point. I thought maybe you'd want someone else with it, but no, so I could have had Antonio Brown for Jarvis Landry straight up, and I would have dealt with it.
God.
I still lost this week, so I would have lost regardless. I would have accepted that loss for more wins, Am I angry at myself? A little bit. A little bit. But I will say this. I'm always a football fan before a fantasy fan. Cowboys won, my week was fine, dude. Then I hope it's going to be good the next couple weeks.
If Michigan lost, I don't even know if I would have done the podcast today, to be honest. Like that's like how
would have been my debut. You would have been holding out. Your holdout would have came in.
That's how much I would have just.
But who would have came back from their holdout quicker?
No, I would have just. I would have just been sitting at home in bed. Nobody called out of work. I can't do it.
Pull a full AWOL.
I can't pretend to be nice to people after Michigan just
Pulls
lost.
a Derrick Rose, just doesn't show up anymore. And everyone's like, yo, where's Derrick at?
Anyone seen Antonio Brown, man? You want to be a Raider or not? It's like, no, I don't.
What about Philly and Atlanta, man? I like Atlanta on that one in the dome.
Atlanta looked like shit.
They did, but I do think
that's the classic game where Atlanta looks like shit.
Yeah.
They come back home and then they have like a bounce back game.
I do think that's but I will say that's a tough team to go up against at home.
It's the classic game where Atlanta looks like shit. They come back home and have a bounce back game. But I still bet on Philadelphia -2 and they lose by 10.
Now, Cleveland and the Jets. I don't know why that's a Monday night game, but it's a Monday night game. Like, I think the Monday night and Sunday night should be swapped, personally. It's Cleveland and the Jets. They have like a combined 100 wins in 20 years.
Yeah, but it's big New York is a big market still, and the Browns had hype.
Yeah, but that's like saying the Mets are the big market. No, the Jets aren't the New York Giants are still the New York football team, regardless how they're doing.
The Jets still do numbers though.
Yeah, I just don't like that for a Monday night game. I thought that there should be a better Monday night game.
It's only week 2. I'm not going to start complaining
yet. I guess you're right. I'm happy it's football. It's just like
I'm watching Hawaii, Oregon State. Man.
Let some people earn some Monday night games first.
It needs to be like 6 or 7 weeks before I stop watching shitty games. Like I said,
Thursday night, I'm just done watching at that point.
I'm watching Hawaii, Oregon State at midnight. So I'm just all in on football right now.
Good for you.
So I'm chasing too. So
okay, yeah, there we go.
Gotta get that money back.
I feel you.
It's Browns -2.5. It seems like Vegas is putting that line pretty low. They want everyone to take the Browns, and then
I like the Jets, man.
Can you imagine the Browns go 0-2 to start after all that hype?
Why would it not? Why would it be a shock though? Like, when did they not get 0-2?
Not a shock, but like after all that hype and everything like that.
Yeah, that's why I just got so angry about the hype, and I was like, wow, this is what it feels like to hear Cowboy fans all the time. Now we're hearing Brown fans. Like, this really does suck. Like, now I see why people hate us.
It's similar for both teams, too, because both teams never win anything. So.
Yeah, well, hold on. At least we make the playoffs. Were we even alive when they won a playoff game? I don't think I was. 93.
You want to know a crazy stat? I think it is, and this just speaks to like how good the Patriots are. I don't know why I thought about this, but there's only, because they're talking about like extending how many teams get into the wild card and everything.
I don't like it, but yeah.
There's 3 teams that have never played in a wild card game. It's Browns, I think it's Lions, and it's Patriots.
Yes, and I got so mad.
But it's Patriots because they're always winning the division.
Well, guys, good news is Yankees are still doing great. We're continuously moving in. Things are going. Sevy just had a couple rehab starts. He looks good coming in now. We'll see what happens.
I stopped watching after you told me I didn't have to watch anymore.
Well, I will let you know this. So far, it's going to be us in Houston at the end of the day, I think. I think the Dodgers, I respect them, but I will say this. If the Dodgers do not come out swinging the bats like they do. It's every postseason the Dodgers, like right before the postseason, Dodgers always look great. Like they've never looked bad the past like 8 years.
Yeah,
you know?
Kershaw's going to have like 8 innings, give up 1 run, and lose 1-0.
Not in the playoffs, man. In the playoffs, he'll make 3 innings and give up 7 runs, man. That's insane.
He hasn't looked very good recently.
I'm surprised he hasn't taken he always takes that 6 weeks off because of his back usually. And he didn't take that off this year, and they've been well above in that division. You know, Mr. War himself, Mike Trout, will miss the playoffs again. War Machine. The War Machine. The War just doesn't go to war. Like, they don't actually go to war, you know. They just go to battle. He doesn't go to war. He goes to battle. God bless him. He'll be gone in 2 years from Anaheim, though. He'll be on another team.
I don't know. I think that's pretty much everything, right?
It is, man. It is. You know.
Thank you guys for watching. If you stuck with us for this long, week 1's in the books. Thank God football's back. No more Sundays or Saturdays without football for like 17 weeks.
Yeah. It's weird.
Thank God. Browns not in Bundesliga.
Nope. Jack Prescott, you better be. Crackers.
Peace out, crackers.